All right, we're going to bring Bhaskar in a second, but you're with Bernie, right?
Of course.
Yeah, of course. That's literally what Bhaskar asked. That's his pre-question for everybody. He's like, I'm on with a Bernie guy, right? I say, of course. Right. Yeah. Let's actually. You want to just come? Yeah, come on. Yeah. All right, we've got. Does Bhaskar set up with headphones? Because we are going to play some sound.
I think I'm good.
Are you good? Can you hear? Can you hear me through it? Okay, beautiful. All right, everybody knows the great Bhaskar Sunkara, founder of Jacobin Magazine, author of. Bhaskar, do you have a copy of your book that you want to hold up?
I have it in my bag. I was reading it myself.
Go grab it. Go grab it, man.
Oh, man.
Let's promote it. Be shameless. I've read enough V.S. Naipaul to know that you're ready to do this, man.
So I was not reading it to just feel myself. There's a paperback coming out.
Socialist Manifesto, The Case for Radical Politics in an Era of Extreme Inequality, which I have to say is a book that I have actually read cover to cover.
Thanks.
And that is not something that's happening a lot these days. That's terrible. I wish I was doing a lot more, but I did.
I've listened to it cover to cover.
And Matt, of course, has given
Audible version is good.
How was it?
It was good. Yeah, you read the intro, I think, right? Or did you read the whole thing?
No, I didn't.
No, you don't read any.
You don't read any of it.
No,
Okay.
no, I didn't even know.
Well, it's been a while.
Yeah.
But it's good.
Someone owes me a royalty check. I don't think I've seen any of that audiobook money.
Really?
I don't know.
Oh,
It's
yeah.
for
All right.
years.
Well, we should end the show. You should go look into that, man. Wanted to talk a little bit about, this is the time where I think it is important to sharpen some of these contradictions, I think, frankly, between Sanders and Warren. And I always say that people should be relaxed about this because it's, she is absolutely a much better candidate than the obvious bad candidates. Joe Biden or Kamala Harris or Pete Buttigieg to the extent we talk about a Joe Biden or a Kamala Harris or a Pete Buttigieg or a Beto O'Rourke is purely predicated on this person might have some pull and some juice right now, and we need to be part of an onslaught to clarify who they are and what their record is. And Elizabeth Warren is not in that category. There's some people who really don't like, who want to polarize Elizabeth Warren in a way that is also not accurate to who she is and what she represents, so I won't do that. At the same time, and I'm sorry, that's actually really loud, she clearly represents something radically different than Bernie Sanders and not as ambitious, not as transformative, not, she wants to ameliorate the conditions inside the rule set of the conditions instead of changing the conditions. And, a lot of people are out now, I think, really, just as it would be wrong for us to say, oh, Elizabeth Warren is the same as Joe Biden, it's ridiculous to say, oh, she's just the more practical Bernie Sanders, or she represents the same thing and blah, blah, blah. This is just absolutely not true. And I think one of the ways I wanted you to speak to a little bit was part of what the evidence of that is the coalitions that they're amassing. Bernie Sanders is putting together a multiracial working class coalition, and the Warren coalition looks a lot like, and specifically, we were talking about this the other day, the Bill Bradley, Howard Dean coalitions. Overeducated, white, affluent. Why do you think that is? And what is the problem that poses moving forward?
Well, I think if you go back to 2000, sorry, this is a bit loud.
No, it's fine. We'll wait for. We're gonna play some sound in a bit. So
all right,
no worries.
So she became a Democrat in 1995, 1996. And
right in the middle of my heyday.
But she was like 40, 46. I don't know. She was in her 40s. Yeah. She was in her 40s when she did it. And part of her realization was how the rules were stacked against working class people.
Right.
And for her, this was kind of I thought the rules of the game were fair. The rules of the game are rigged. I need to make the rules fair. It's a vision that's fundamentally technocratic. And no doubt some of the things she's proposing will, in fact, help working class people. People are getting screwed on mortgages. They're getting screwed on payday loans. They're getting screwed by their insurance companies. In fact, the rules are stacked against us. It requires way too much time to navigate stuff. There's a million things. When I'm with my dad, right, who came to America in his early 40s and, is he's still with it, but not fully. He's in his 70s now, and like I'm with him at Avis, and you find the $20 overcharge and things like that, right? Like things that young people can navigate, that people with like more spare time like can navigate, but a lot of working class people busy between jobs or whatever just know that they can't afford it anyway. So what's the difference between a $320 bill and a $300 bill if you can't pay it? So there are legitimate ways in which I think a Warren presidency could help, but it's a different vision of change than saying you deserve to be angry. You're getting further and further behind. The reason why you're getting further and further behind isn't because the rules are slanted or there's some regulations in place, because millionaires and billionaires keep benefiting from the situation you're in, and it's not rules. The game itself is flawed, and we need to be playing a different game, and we need to fight together, fight from below. It's not a big structural change in this kind of vague technocratic way. It's you yourself bringing about this change, and I think the difference is that clear even at that level. And also, if you look at the policy, she's proposing more moderate things than Bernie Sanders.
Right.
She's already signaling that she's willing to take corporate money when it comes to the general election. And she's signaling to the elite that if ever you get nervous about Joe Biden, if this guy starts acting really old, even more erratic.
If he bleeds out of both eyes.
Then I'm there as a fallback. I'm the new Kamala Harris fallback
He talks
candidate.
about being in a bathhouse with Strom Thurmond and how Bobby Kennedy was assassinated in 1985. And people really need to just shut up because Obama was his friend. That maybe at that point, it might be good to have a plan B.
Yeah, and Warren is there. She's ready to be the plan B. And also, here's the thing I'm really worried about. She might, this is me being complete over-the-top speculative fiction. I should not be saying this, but I can imagine a scenario where, let's say, Biden or Sanders, let's say, for the sake of discussion, Biden has the most delegates, but not a majority. Sanders is close behind him, number 2. Warren's kind of a distance behind them, number 3, in which it's brokered at the convention that she wins the top of the ticket. I can imagine scenarios like that playing out, especially with these new DNC rules. She's positioning herself there. I think you don't have to make up lies about her. You don't have to say she's terrible.
Right.
But there is a better alternative on offer.
What do you make of this? Of course, and look at this profile of support thing. I mean, I really want to get into this because I think that this is where it really underlines the concern in two senses. One is the type of actual systems change that only one candidate is putting on the table for actual redistribution and democracy, and that's Bernie Sanders, no matter how elegant and positive some of the technocratic changes are. And two, let's talk about electability. I mean, what do you need to mobilize to defeat Donald Trump? That is not the map of, we don't need to lock the gluten sensitivity vote to beat Donald Trump in a general election. So, talk to that part of it, too.
I think one thing that's interesting, if you ask anyone, even kind of a neoliberal Democrat.
And I'm part of the gluten sensitivity vote in some respects, so...
No, it's no joke. I used to make fun of it. Then I went to Ireland, and everything in Ireland's like cider, gluten-free, or whatever. Then what's wrong with this place? And it's a gene.
You learn to not make fun of the Irish people about their gluten sensitivity.
A small percentage of white people suffer from this thing. Some others too. But I don't know. These people from Greece, they're just lying about it.
What's the Somali word again?
Mzungu.
Mzungu gluten.
Mzungu gene.
The Mzungu gene.
But everyone agrees that Bernie is the candidate who can best compete for Trump voters.
Definitely.
I think even a lot of mainstream Democrats will concede this about Bernie. He's also the candidate who's well positioned to do well, encouraging turnout among Black and Latino voters, particularly younger Black and Latino voters. So where's the trade-off? He's going to both win over some of those people who went from Obama to Trump, and he's going to encourage turnout because obviously a lot of Black and Latino voters are not going to go over to Trump, but they're just going to stay at home if they're not inspired by the candidate.
Go back again, as always, to a regular on this show, Malika Jabali's work in Wisconsin. It's the same point.
And the only thing Biden has going to this point is the perception of electability, and that's already starting to pop.
Whoa. Like his eye
Yeah,
at the forum.
you know, we tweeted something about that, and we got lots of angry.
Oh, whatever. As always,
yeah, you
the
know, you're
principle
shaming-
still stands.
Shaming this poor
I
man.
shame your shame.
Yeah,
Please.
but you know, he does seem
Jesus
shaky.
Christ.
He seems shaky.
No, he legit. I mean, what do you think of watching Joe Biden from just a performance standpoint? It's kind of scary, right?
I mean, he's like on ice. You know what I mean? It's like he's. It feels like he's improvising everything, like freestyling. Like that's how I feel. Like he comes with an answer, and he just trying to find the words. He's messing up his homie Obama's name. It just doesn't.
Barack, the black guy I work for. Shut up, just listen.
Doesn't inspire confidence when you see things like that, because you're wondering what's going on. You have to be kind of sharp. You know, Trump, with all his shortcomings, like he
knows how to dig. Well, what we were saying was that even if Trump is losing his faculties, what difference does that make? It's like, yeah, because of all the lucid, coherent points I was making.
I didn't
before,
win with faculties.
I don't need my faculties. I just win. Yeah. He's like, Trump is like the DJ Khaled. He's just like another one.
ODB, drunken style.
Right. I mean, I did see in the Daily Beast that supposedly Trump is telling, you can never really, these reports can get really convoluted with how people choose to leak, but supposedly he's telling people, and I think he does have an understanding of the electorate in certain areas. And he's supposedly saying socialism is going to be hard to run against because people like free stuff. He's like, it's going to be hard.
Well, this is also a lesson he got from Bannon, right? Bannon was telling him,
it's a lesson he got from Bannon.
Deficit financing, let's do a jobs program.
And why is it that it's these Republican or right-wing Svengali monsters? Because Dominique Cummings, who's Boris Johnson's guy, right? There's a video of him talking at some group a year or two ago, and he's like, the thing that most people just cannot understand, and he's talking about the UK electorate, but it's global, is that he was basically like, if you went to the UK electorate, they were to the left on fiscal policy. They would love way more money for the NHS and education, and they would probably bring back the death penalty. Like they're kind of like not so progressive on social issues. Like that is where the electorate's at. So we have to navigate that, not by compromising on any values, but the center always has the baseline wrong of where people are at, because it's like the most projecting politics of any kind of politics. I think even really reactionary people understand that a lot of people are not with them. It's centrists. It's like affluent centrists who always think like everybody just wants to listen to NPR.
Belt tightening and live within your means. No, if you give me a credit card,
give
like
me a credit
$10,000,
card.
I will live outside my means.
Yeah,
and
loosen
be much
my
happier.
Yeah, right, exactly.
Right.
Expand my means. Precisely. You just watched a Michael Brooks show video. Subscribe to get them all. Why wouldn't you? Don't be foolish. Click subscribe below and become a patron as well. Patreon.com/TMBS. Thanks, everybody.